Hey guys, still TLR for life here, and this is the completed buggy just about, other than a few little things. I'll just go over some quick stuff that, the cool upgrades that this thing does come with again, with it all on the buggy. First thing would be the +1mm drive hubs for the rear. That gives you a little wider stance in the back. That's one of the upgrades that you could get for like the 2.0 and stuff like that. As well with the adjustable, let me stand this thing up here, turn it around, whatever. The adjustable hinge pin braces, the aluminum ones, so you can adjust the rear toe and the anti-squat along with the front kick up and things like that. So that's going to be something cool to play around with to see how that's excuse me, I got the hiccups. Sorry guys. That's going to be something cool to adjust and see what it does. The wicker bill system for more or less drag. I think you can take this off and then be more or less like a stock wing with it on. I think it's more for like the European tracks or high speed, so you get more downforce and drag for like when you're braking. And then it's got a thicker one you can put on there if you want more. So that's cool. I don't know how much, you'd notice that with the bigger tracks, but either way, it'll be alright. The fatter shocks, 16mm large bore shocks are now what they're calling them. They changed up the bladder a little bit in the shock. Different style of pistons, different coating on the hinge pins and the shock shafts. It's like titanium. It's not titanium nitrate anymore. It's like a titanium CR. I don't remember what they call it. I'll have to update you guys on that if you want to know. The tapered springs now. Let me think here. I went ahead and put on my King Heads braces just because I've had those ever since I had my very first, the Losi 8 1.0. So now it's just kind of like a sentimental thing or something for me. Yeah, they stiffen up the chassis even more, but I mean, if you're running these things and grandfather them in, you're not really going to notice, the stiffness of the chassis that they induce on the car. So anyway, it's just something I like to have on there, front and rear. The chassis, I think, is a little stiffer than the one on the 2.0, but I think with time it will wear in, and this will probably be the last time you'll see the chassis this nice on this thing. I run the DE Racing skid plates. A lot of people don't like them because on the face of the jump, it may catch the dirt and slow you down. I've never had it cost me a race, so the day that does happen is when I'll ditch them. So I doubt I'll even worry about that. Just saves the chassis from becoming a knife edge in the back. 15 degrees of caster on the front instead of 12 max. So I'm going to see if they'll ever come out with an aluminum set. The only reason why we were switching to the aluminum before was to get the extra caster from 10 to 12 degrees. Now they bumped it all the way up to 15. Let's see if there's anything else of adjustability on this car. Oh, this is it. I was going to, come on, you're caught on the repair of my towel. There was a modification you can do to the rear shock tower, and you can actually drill a hole below this one to get the camber link down into a lower position. It came with it on the 2.0, but it did not come with it on the 3.0, and a lot of the guys, even the pro drivers, are putting a hole here, or you can run the rear shock tower for the e-buggy that has much more adjustment holes. So I'm sure that's something maybe in the kit that they're going to upgrade to eventually, like a revision. But I think instead of doing that mod, I think I'm just going to swap it out and put the e-buggy one on there and do whatever with this one. Just leave it in my box for a spare. And that's about it. The front and rear center dog bones instead of the pins, because they did have a problem with the pins coming out. I think that was one of the bigger reasons. They also say it's a lot smoother transition instead of the CVD, because it will, if you would max them out, and the front one was always on an angle, so if you max them out, they kind of bind up a little bit. I mean, you never really felt it, but maybe under flex or something, so maybe that's why they did that. Let me think if there's anything else. A lot of the things stayed the same. As far as, you guys seen my video of the shimming for the rear diff. That came out really nice. I mean, this thing just rolls like so smooth. It's just awesome. The shocks are real smooth. What else did they do? They did quite a bit with this. I mean, they just pretty much changed the whole suspension geometry. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to play with. I'll keep you guys updated on how this thing is doing when I first race it. I'll give you guys a review of the after the first initial race. So we'll see how that's going. I guess they updated the plastics too. They did something different with the plastic. Maybe made it a little stronger or something. I'm not 100% sure. I was going to go ahead and put my 2.0 radio tray in this. But I figure since it's a new buggy, it'll get all new stuff. I'll just build the one that came with the kit. And then just leave this one as a backup. As far as the engine goes, I'm going to be getting a new engine, because anytime I get a new buggy, I have to put a new engine in it. It's just superstition for me. So, these are going to be backups. I'm going to get probably the keep off 4-port for this one. And then for the Truggy, which has a brand new P5 in it. I mean, I don't even think it's like completely broken in. I mean, it maybe has 1.5 gallons on it. Well, maybe a little more, because I did run about 3/4 of a gallon through it on break-in. So we're gonna get something new. I'm tossing the idea around of getting a Clockwork racing engine for both the buggy and the Truggy. I just don't know if I want to justify spending that kind of money yet on it. I mean, it's not really that big of an issue for me as far as money goes, but because I've driven some Clockwork motors before, in friends' cars and stuff, and yeah, they're wicked. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love them, but we'll just see how that's going to go for us. I got break-in videos coming up soon. Probably, well, I wouldn't say soon, but at least in the spring. So, I got this one here to clean up. So I'm going to take you guys through that process. I think I've already covered that a little bit. And we'll just go from very start to very finish. And I'll show you guys how I break them in. It comes out real smooth. I kind of do it. I don't like set any particular amount of fuel that I'm going to run through it. I just do it until I feel the motor being broke in, but I will cover that once I'm doing the break-in video, because it's going to be kind of hard to explain without the engine right in front of me. So I'll get you guys hip on how I do that, and then there's a million different break-in processes out there. I'm not saying mine's the best, but it's just how I've deprocessed through a lot, and I mean a lot of trial and error. The best process that I found to get the engine performing 100% flawlessly. So you guys can take that however you want. You can modify it to your likings. That's what I did. I just did a ton of research on break-in, watched a ton of videos, and just kind of came up with my own idea as to how I want to do it. So we'll go from there. I'm hoping I didn't forget anything to cover for you guys. Oh, one other upgrade. I did forget something. This thing comes with the little springs to keep the brake pads away from the rotor, so you just get more of a smoother roll. I mean, it makes a good amount of difference. Probably saves on fuel consumption and all that, because as this thing's bouncing around, you can imagine that the brake pads hitting the rotor and kind of slowing the buggy down a little bit, because in racing, 1/1000th of a second, that'll cost you the race. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this build as much as I did. I mean, I was kind of happy to share it with you guys. I don't think any comments on the build video, so that either means I did a really good job, or people just said, what the hell, just another another build video, big deal. But either way, maybe it did help some people out that were watching. You know, if there's anything you guys want to ask me or whatever about the build, or any tips or anything, if you think I forgot something, just give me a shout out, and you know, just ask me. No big deal. I'm willing to help anybody. Yeah, this thing's pretty sweet. I just can't wait to get this thing running on the track. It looks so pretty now, but you know darn well it's going to get beat up. That is racing. So, I'm not going to bore you guys too much. I've been babbling for quite some time. So, you guys have a really good night. If I don't make a video before Thanksgiving, I hope all of you have a great Thanksgiving with your families. And we will see you guys very, very soon, I hope. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. And please comment and subscribe to me. Thank you.